Hi, folks out there in Cyberland. This is Carla from Today is Rehan's World of Connections. And you also know me from the Learn English program. And I am here to speak with Alan DeRossett. And before I forget, I want to tell you we are sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace from using one conversation at a time. And we have Alan, who is from Thousand Oaks, California, which is near Santa Barbara, or?
We're 40 miles north of LA and 40 miles south of Santa Barbara.
I love Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
So, Alan, introduce yourself, please.
Oh, I'm Alan DeRossett from Thousand Oaks, and I run a little 101 incubator. It's an online virtual incubator, and we help startups that are trying to achieve exponential growth in sustainable technologies. My background's I have a varied background. I'm kind of a generalist. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Not a doctor or anything. So I done work with X Prize on the tricorder.
I can't ask you how to get rid of my cold.
I wouldn't take my own advice, no. But
I'm disappointed.
We'll have I'll put up various links later. It's boring stuff to read, but I'm doing some advisory work for a little company called MSB, MSB.ai, and they're on startengine.com website. And that AI just got adopted by NASA to be used in a future project. So we're real excited this week about that. It's going to be for an autonomous Mars type of rover. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. There's a couple press releases out about it.
How cool.
So things are changing fast. The world is changing very, very fast. We're talking from all around the world right now. And you've seen it in the last 3 to 5 years, things have gotten twice as quick. And the next 3 to 5 years are going to get even faster. It's going to be a little disruptive. We're seeing that with a lot of layoffs and jobs right now. A lot of careers are vanishing. People are having to be flexible and retrain really quick for new things and be adaptable. Those are all things that generalists are good at. That's why it's good to try to pick up an extra skill or two while you're working or doing studying. And I'm constantly in school right now, and I'm 62. So it's online. Everything's online that I do. So we're picking up new programming languages. I'm working with Singularity.net in their AI. I'm not worried about a computer becoming conscious and taking over the world. I'm worried about unconscious people without a conscious programming those computers. So we see a lot of that right now.
Absolutely. Now,
go ahead.
No, go on. I thought you were done.
Well, I just was going to mention the little emojis in Facebook. There's a nice little program called Spiral that actually reads those emojis, and it's created by a guy named Vladimir who works at Facebook and ML in Brooklyn, New York. And it counts how many angry or hearts or happies or sads that people click on so that it can monitor their emotional state. and it changes your Facebook feed in real time. So you might be more susceptible to buying something, or I don't know what, voting for something. And that's happening right now. It was adopted last month, and Spiral is in gear right now. You'll see if you heart something 6 times or hate something 6 times, your feed will start to slowly change within an hour.
How does it change?
It's using an AI algorithm that keeps track of your emotional state. Every person.
Well,
So it's huge data.
if that happens, would they be able to, or would we be able to detect whether someone is happy or sad or maybe aggressive towards someone? So
Yes.
that could be
Suicidal, aggressive, potentially dangerous, sure. And if it's in the wrong hands and it's pushed too far, it can make someone that has a post-traumatic stress disorder snap as well. And it might not be one, it might only be 1 in a million that snap, but that's all you need to have a mass shooting or terrorist attack.
is it actually working and doing that now?
Yeah, I'll post a link to the video interview of its developer. It was in This Week in Machine Learning, episode 221, it says. And I'll post that link shortly.
Wow.
But it really works. And it changes the types of stories you get. So if you like the cat or the puppy, it might want to sell you something after 6 clicks because you're in a good mood. And they think you'll buy something when you're in a good mood.
So would you get would you get like one of those advertisements about feeding dog food or cat food or?
That's a possibility too, but what it also does is it analyzes your pictures you upload. So if you upload pictures of a dog and you say, this is my dog, it will remember. And you may see dog food ads then once a week or something.
I have uploaded pictures of my cats and dog. It's almost getting like Big Brother.
That's what they call it. The board, board members on Facebook board, like Peter Thiel, he owns a little company called Palantir. It's worth about 20 billion. And they control the DMV data, voter registration data, and the IRS data now. So and then with Facebook data, they know a lot about people. So.
Okay, with IRS data, what are they finding out?
I guess if you can afford to buy something.
May not be able to talk about that. But.
Yeah, well, that's some of the reasons on Facebook, it's harder to talk about it, but yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been in computer science, programming, and working on computers for about 30 years. But, Facebook hasn't been around that long. My first internet company was in 94. And that was digitalstarlight.com. And that's still running. We have a couple, 1,200 different top level domains now you can buy there. A top level domain is like a country code or a .com or .net, .biz, .bar, .museum, those kind of things.
Well, I remember when I was teaching in an elementary school in Washington, D.C., and my principal had just gotten her first Mac notebook.
Wow.
And she came in and she showed it to us and she said, I want all my teachers on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in 1992. And I figured out how I could get a loan to get a MacBook. went out, I bought my MacBook, and we didn't have it in the schools yet, but I would bring my laptop to school so the kids could be on it too.
Mm-hmm.
And we started, all kinds of communication. Like for Christmas, I had them write letters to Santa.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
that's really neat. Yeah, my mother was an English teacher for multiple years before she passed in 2013. And so was just at the very beginning and got computers in the classroom in the late 90s, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, I was a special ed teacher.
Okay.
So I used it for my kids to draw. Like they draw a picture, but then they would type in their stories.
Mm-hmm.
So we could read them after, I do a little editing with them, but not much. And it was cool.
I have a question or a recommendation. This book I got at a city planning meeting last week. It's called Happy Cities by Charles Montgomery. And it's an excellent book. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, I can. Barely.
But it's called Happy Cities. And it's all about creating, the best you can do with the least amount of materials and effort. I'm using some of the ideas in there in our algorithms that will be used for digital habitats. There's a group on Facebook called Digital Habitats, and they create 3D architectural diagrams for buildings that map out to Google Earth, so that city planners and can sim and see what something's going to look like before they build it, and spend lots of money. So it's a lot of good ideas in that book.
Wow.
So everything's computer that I do. So it's all interconnected somehow.
Are you married?
I was. My son's 25 now. I have one son, and he's an engineer.
Computer engineer or what kind of?
Mechanical. He's doing aerospace stuff right now.
Wow. How cool.
Yeah, he picked it up really. He's good at math. He checks my work. So.
Yeah, I would need someone to check my work if I did anything in math.
In fact, the link I posted in the chat window for you is pretty heavy in math, but I have a co-author, Pedro, that did the math for me. So I did the words, he did the math.
Now, do you work from home or do you actually go into an office?
Well,
since you do so much computer work.
Yeah, from right now, I do a little of both. And then we have AI breakfast meetings every Tuesday, where, a group of us get together and just go out for breakfast and spend 3 hours, a little bit of work, a little bit of breakfast. And we'll get a lot of good ideas that way. Everyone reports back in what they've been doing all week, so.
Okay, talking about that, what are some of the projects you're working on when it comes
to an interesting one that was an X Prize originally, a Carbon X Prize, is Hago Energetics. It's HAGO Energetics, E Energetics, ENGETERICS. And what they do is they sequester carbon out of flue gas, out of waste and fumes. So they also use biomass. It could be sawdust or grass clippings or chopped up trees or chopped up trash. And they process it in a pyrolysis system, take the there's no air in it, so it doesn't burn, doesn't produce smoke, and it carbonizes it. And then they add liquid. They can make biodiesel with it or other hydrocarbons. They could also turn it into biochar and use it for tree planting in hard soils and stuff. So that's kind of adaptable to wherever they're putting a unit. Now, currently, Cal State Channel Islands is putting one in. So they're busy on that one right now, welding it up and hooking it up to their electric peaker plant. So all I did is the code that runs the AI that keeps track of the temperatures and the pressures and follows the recipe. And the recipe for biochar is one thing, and the recipe for biodiesel is different ingredients and something else.
Now, I have an Alexa, and I don't understand how this works. I can say, Alexa, what is it today's date? And she knows.
Yep.
How does that work?
Well, it only works when you have internet. I found that out.
True.
I have one too. And I was running a sump pump during a storm to drain water, and I thought I'll be clever and time it because I don't want it to go dry. And so I set my timer on Alexa, and then the power and the utilities went out. So, you know, I was lucky I caught turned it off, but if I was cooking something, I would have burnt it. So how it works is it connects to the Amazon cloud, and they have a program in there in AWS, Amazon cloud, that actually listens once you say the keyword. So you have to say the keyword. That's the downside. It's also the upside for privacy, but we'll talk about that some other time. But for right now, when you say Alexa, it listens and then it looks for a keyword. So mine lit up when I said its name.
Alexa, what time is it?
It's 9:44 p.m.
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:44 p.m.
So mine's Pacific time.
Right. But how? You just said it's connected to a cloud.
Okay, so in the cloud, there's all your personal stuff is, you know, collected. Like those could be the apps that you've loaded, where you've told Alexa to enable a certain thing. Like tell your Alexa to enable Jeopardy.
Alexa, enable Jeopardy.
Okay, here's Jeopardy.
And so now you'll have a game on there. You can talk to it and it'll ask you questions and you can answer it. It's pretty fun. It's just like the TV show Jeopardy, which I don't know that it's played everywhere. Stop. It's a bit chatty. Yeah. But so different people will write things.
Alexa, stop. I mean, I actually use, I'm taking some homeopathic meds, and I will say, Alexa, set timer for a minute and for 90 seconds, and she does it.
Yes, but I wish Jeff Bezos had put that 5-cent chip in it.
Timer.
Yeah, just tell it to pause or something. But if they had put the extra 5 cents into it and put a little timer chip in it, then when the internet went down, the timer would still work. If you want to ask it to tell you a joke, it will too. If you say, Alexa, tell me a homeopathic joke.
Let's see, Alexa, tell me a homeopathic joke.
I don't have a joke about that.
She doesn't have a joke.
It was a guess. Who knows? Yeah. But anyway, there's a lot of things like that. But one of the things that it does is once the keyword's listening, there's a whole set of scripts in there called Poly or Lexi, and there's a lot of keywords and utterances. And the programmer has to say what he thinks or she thinks that the vast majority of people will say. And if you say, give it 4 options, it'll only know those 4 options. It doesn't know an infinite number of things. It's based on users. There's active learning where it could actually learn 50 things. And so if it knows that you always ask certain things at certain times, you could just say, put this in my morning menu. And when you ask for that, it would then tell you the 5 different things you want to know, like the price of a stock, the temperature in a city, the time, the traffic. It will order those up and put them in a list for you too. So you could just make one word, like you could just say, good morning, what's new? And you could have it scheduled to tell you what's new. And it's a little bit of work right now. It's growing leaps and bounds, but I've programmed a little bit on the Alexa backend, but it's hard. It's harder because I don't have it in front of me, and AWS has its own lingo and language. So you have to, when you're programming at Amazon, you have to know what an elastic beanstalk is, and I didn't know that. So I was like, had to read, and yeah, they had these names for things, and I didn't know what they were because they weren't used in any other computer, science department or anything. So I had to go through 40 hours probably on Amazon to become expert or even elementary at that. So if you want to program Alexa, you could probably learn to do it in 40 hours.
No, I think it would take longer. I don't know that much about computers.
Well, it get some help, and there is a lot of help. There's people you just ask, and chat rooms and stuff. Another good place to ask is like on Cent, CENT.co. It's a interesting website because they pay people to post. So if someone writes an interesting story on there, other people will pay you when they read it. And it's bizarre because you wouldn't think that would happen, but it's kind of the opposite of Facebook, where Facebook keeps the money from advertisers. Well, they take the money and pay people that post, that get more people to look at it and more people to read. So
I've never heard of it.
yeah, it's cent.co is what it is. And CO is a Colombian top level domain for Colombia, the country. So I never would have found it if I hadn't heard from someone else, Things get passed word of mouth.
I guess I don't understand how Alexa would know. If I say to Alexa, tell me the weather, and now she'll tell me the weather, and she'll
Based
say,
on your zip code.
have a good day.
Yeah.
How does she know that I'm talking to her in the morning instead of in the evening?
Well, you call it Alexa, right?
What?
You call it by name. You call the device by name.
Right.
That's how it knows you're talking to it.
No, that isn't my question. I know that's how she knows I'm talking to her. But how did she know that this is early morning or this is late evening? And
I think it's probably your zip code.
how does she know my zip code? I didn't tell her.
I think when it set itself up, it said I'm calling in from, Eastern time zone. And so it knows the city you're in. Because if you ask it right now, where are you?
Alexa, where am I?
You're in Silver Spring, Maryland.
How does she know that?
Have you ever bought anything on Amazon before?
Oh, I buy a lot on Amazon.
Well, they share your address with Alexa because they own it. Tricky. That data is worth a lot of money, and that's what like Cent is designing to pay the users instead of the other way around.
Wow.
So it knew where you lived because Amazon, you bought something on Amazon once upon a time.
It's unbelievable though.
Yeah, it's fun, and there's some of the things I've seen up at Foresight Institute and Google and stuff are advances in medicine with things similar to the Amazon Alexa, but it's like a smart speaker system, and they run in the home, but they don't go up to the web, so they're not taking your data and sharing it anywhere. It's for medical use only, and so it'll detect if you're coughing or choking or snoring or breathing hard, and it might alert your neighbor to come over, or it might call your son or daughter. It's not Alexa because Alexa needs internet, and the problem with that is when you're breathing heavy or you're in trouble, there might not be internet. So you got to work on a fog network or peer-to-peer between a neighborhood, like a emergency backup system. There's what they call fog, and that's like a cloud is up here, fog is lower to the ground, closer to your home. So you could have 5 neighbors connected with wireless devices over a fog network, and then if you want to call one of them, I need help or whatever, and that would only go to the neighbor, not go out to the whole internet. So lots of fun things you can do with wireless, and the standard wireless routers you buy at Amazon or Best Buy or wherever can be redone and run a fog network over unroutable addresses. So it's not public.
How does Siri work? Because I could say, hey Siri, call Alan DeRossett.
Well, it works very much the same way, but it's going from your own phone book. And it also goes from your address that you put into Apple when you bought something or registered something. So I've had that happen before when I bought something at the office versus the home, and 2 different zip codes, and because we're near a county line here, and the one Apple would think I'm at work always, even if I'm at home. So, and the Alexa would think I'm at home because that's where it was shipped.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
It can, yeah.
And it also amazes me that I could say, hey, Alexa, tell me about John F. Kennedy. And she will.
Here's the Wikipedia article on John F. Kennedy. John Fitzgerald Jack Kennedy, often referred to by his initials JFK, was an American politician who served as the 35th president of the United States.
Alexa, stop.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, if we had that when I was, in school, I wouldn't have used encyclopedias, huh?
Right. I mean, there's no need for that now.
So we've just dematerialized all those things we used to spend our money on. And the Alexa is pretty inexpensive, for considering what it does.
Oh, it's very inexpensive. I got it as a gift, but it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Or I could say, hey, Alexa, play James Taylor, You Have a Friend.
Here's You've Got a Friend by James Taylor.
Alexa, stop. Facebook will get mad at me.
Yeah, they'll sue you for copyright infringement, royalties or something. Yeah.
You can't, no, they wouldn't sue me, but what would happen was they'd mute the show.
Okay. And that's also done by the AI at Facebook. There's not a person listening in. It's the computer. They're running big computers on all our feeds, on all our instant messaging and everything, and it reads the context of the words, and it understands our. They probably have something like Shazam that recognizes what song it is and mutes it.
Really?
So, I mean, the Shazam program was one that would recognize any music in the first few lines. And that was a popular one a few years ago. I don't know if it's still around, but.
I remember when I first got my Alexa and I was already doing the show Learn English. And I was talking to someone and she mentioned a song and I said, oh, let's have Alexa play this song. It was a Beatles song. I don't remember exactly. And the moment it went on.
It was a Beatles song. I don't know, remember that I'm like, right?
Right. Yes, Alexa, you're absolutely right.
If you really want to have fun, get Siri.
By the way, if you want to find one
Here.
of the notes, just ask.
And ask Siri, say, Siri, who's smarter, you or Alexa? And hold them together.
Hey, Siri, who is smarter, you or Alexa? I'm not sure I understand.
Ask Alexa who's smarter, Siri or.
Alexa, who is smarter, you or Siri?
I like all AIs.
And then you get Google Home and you get them all arguing with each other. It's funny.
Well, I'll tell you, it was really funny. One day I was doing the show with the kids and very unusual appearance by Rehan. And he said, why don't we ask the people coming to the show to ask a question of Alexa? And we did it. And it was so funny what, they would say, hey, Alexa, what's your name? Or something like that. And the answers were really, Alexa, just be quiet. But the answers were so funny, and to hear the people, the kids reacting as they did.
Yeah.
But it was mainly to teach them that, be careful about what you ask. Be careful.
Yeah, well, it may order a lot of something and send it to your home.
Well, did you ever hear of the parrot who used to order things from Amazon with Alexa?
It's gonna be classic. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
There was a video on it.
Every time I wanted some more sunflower seeds,
Yeah.
it would order, huh? That's good.
The parrot did the ordering and the owner did the paying. And
I saw one where a 3-year-old figured it out and got toys. It would look for a toy and then tell Alexa, order it. And a toy would come and it would charge the parent's credit card. And they'd throw it in the kid's room. Kid figured it out. And then after about $1,000, the parents figured it out.
What a riot. This has been fun.
Yeah, so I do apologize that it's a little later and I have to get going because I do take care. We have a little dinner planned with my dad who's 93. So.
Oh, how nice.
I don't think he wants to eat too late.
No, I don't want you to do that. And basically I needed to get half an hour and we did over a half an hour.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm available. My times are flexible, but at times I'm busy and I don't answer the phone or anything, but yeah. And I'll put some links up. I'll send you some links later.
Well, don't go anywhere yet because we'll say goodbye together.
Okay.
and we're going out with a little laughter.
Okay.
And I want to thank everyone who watched this broadcast because it was an unusual one, not my typical, but that's okay. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for watching.
Can
Remember,
I make a suggestion?
yeah,
Ask Alexa to laugh with you.
let's see. Alexa, laugh. Will you laugh? Alexa, will you laugh with me?
Sure, I can laugh. Tee hee.
Alexa, laugh again.
Sure, I can laugh. Tee hee.
It's different every time, I think.
I won't be back tonight, but I'll be back at 12:30 p.m. New York time and 9:30 p.m. Pakistan time. Come and speak with me. And Alan, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go out with a little laughter.